Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Driving My Mind podcast. Thank you again for being patient. I'm a day or two late, but that's okay. Monday was kind of tough, dude. School is definitely underway this first full week, going into the first full second week, I should say. So thank you again. I got a wonderful topic today. If you already checked it out, a movie review, my first movie review for the channel, and it was Gran Turismo. So let me tell you a little bit about it. And again, sorry with the car content, dude. There was so much. If you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, not driving my mind, it's Your Ride and I on YouTube. That's where I kind of first started, and then I evolved into a podcast. But usually it's the car walkthroughs, and I was so excited this past weekend. I was like, dude, there's like 3 or 4 meets. There's the one down the road with the Euros, and then there was Detail Garage was hooking up with Lethal Culture, and they were gonna have theirs. And dude, I was so pumped and ready for the weekend, and then Hurricane Hillary wanted to swing on by and actually be a full hurricane in the middle of August. So I missed out because I guess everyone did the right thing, the smart thing. They canceled all their shows, North County SD still had their show, and I regret not going. Again, I was kind of like sketched, and, I wasn't sure if it was going to rain that morning, and I don't want to get the cars wet, and I missed out because they had a fantastic turnout. North SD always rocks. Check out their Instagram and check out their amazing car meets out there in Bonsall. But anyways, Hurricane Hillary kind of threw a monkey wrench into my recording, but definitely this upcoming week, there are a lot of makeup shows happening. Again, I'm not even going to my USPSA competition shooting event, which I suck at anyways, but it's still good to learn and practice and keep growing. But I'm going to Escondido Cars and Coffee for their JDM week with the Honda Type R clubs heading over. And I'm going to see so many Type Rs. I'm going to be so jealous of everything I see. I can't wait to record that this upcoming Sunday. But go support your local car meets. A lot of them are being scheduled up, ready to go again this weekend, now that we're going to have some fantastic weather. I'm definitely going to take the Honda 2000 out there. So moving on to the podcast, a movie review. On this Hurricane Hillary Sunday, I was like, dude, let's go check out Gran Turismo, right? And they were having an early showing, an early viewing of Gran Turismo at a local theater. Just one showing at 2 o'clock on a Sunday. And it was like truly actually raining. Not like Californians think like rain like it's sprinkling. No, dude, it was legit raining. Like my wipers had to go one step before full on blast. Roads were flooding. It was nuts. So it was full on raining, but that also meant I was able to go to the theater. I got the exact center of the movie theater, and this theater had the reclinable chairs. It had the little lazy Susan board thingy or whatever I could put my popcorn and drink on. It was amazing. And normally I just sit on the side. Like when I went and saw Oppenheimer in 70 millimeter, no big deal. I sat on the edge, right? And normally I'm an edge kind of seat. I don't want to be next to person. I'm munching and chewing on ice and just being that annoying guy. I'm usually just off to the center, off to the side. I'm a big guy, so the aisle seat's nice when you're on the edge, so I can just get in and get out, right? But dude, everyone was empty. Everyone stayed in for the hurricane. Sat right dead center, saw the viewing. The sound was good. The screen was good. I was reclined fully. There weren't that many people in there. It was amazing. I freaking loved it. And for the fact that it was an early showing, an early viewing, was really, really cool. So thank you to Reading Cinemas down in Marietta for having that and hosting that. So I had a really good time. And it was a Sunday, 2 o'clock. Rain, it was just nice to be out there, and I enjoyed myself. And I went and saw Gran Turismo. And so let me just give you like an overall basic synopsis. Don't take me as a movie reviewer, movie critic. That is far from what I am and what this podcast is. But I feel like this movie deserves a show for the week for my podcast because of how much Gran Turismo has meant for me, and honestly how pretty well done this movie was. A couple of gripes here and there that I'm going to go about with it, but dude, I was entertained. Now, maybe not Oppenheimer cerebrally entertained in that sense, but I had a very good time. And I'm going to tell you why towards the end of the podcast, why we as a car community should go out and support this film. So when it comes to Gran Turismo, kind of the premise of it is, there's this kid named Jan, Jann. And again, forgive me for any mispronunciations, maybe some slight skewing of what I'm presenting to you. This is just from what research I've done after viewing the movie and me kind of reflecting and summarizing it for you. But there's this young man named Jan, and, his dad's a pretty awesome footballer back in the day, but ends up getting a ho-hum job at the rail yard. He has a brother that is also kind of following in the dad's footsteps, trying to be a footballer superstar. And Jan is kind of the opposite. He wants to get into his Gran Turismo. He has the super sick Fanatic steering wheel, the $2,000 steering wheel, and he's just consistent. He practices. He goes to the gaming center where they have all the video gaming competitions and viewings and opportunities to play. And he's always on Gran Turismo, and he's actually really, really good at it. And so, this character, he is a Gran Turismo nut and really good at it. Then you have a side story with Orlando Bloom being a director of marketing for Nissan and pitching his proposal of, hey, there's this wonderful game, Gran Turismo, super authentic, coming from the homeland of Japan with the creator. And why don't we create this academy, this simulation academy where we take the best drivers of this game and put them into an actual academy where the winner or a couple of winners actually get to race real cars for Nissan. Let's see how this can help promote and create a car community you've never seen before, and give, many car enthusiasts and hopefuls the opportunity to say, wow, this can actually lead somewhere. And it was super unique and pitched for at the time. And I'll kind of explain to you what I mean by the time. And Nissan was super skeptical, but they said, let's do it, but just find me a chief crew engineer, a race engineer that's going to be able to train your drivers and teach them the realities of racing. And so you go to your next character, David Harbour, and I thought he was a star of the movie. And he's kind of a washed up race car driver that drove in Le Mans. And he ended up crashing. He got in a big old fire. He ended up killing someone inadvertently, right? I mean, just racing is dangerous in and itself. And so he still is in the race car community, but he's just a mechanic now for this bougie, kind of arrogant, race car driver that, always wants everyone sucking up and kissing to him. But David Harbour is more of a purist and really truly thorough in what he believes and what he's doing. And he wants to step up to this race car driver. He tells him something and just ultimately gets kicked off the team. And that's when the Nissan the Nissan promoter, Orlando Bloom, the executive, says, hey, man, I got this idea. You should hop onto it. And he's like, all right, fine, but I do it my way. And he's very reluctant in doing it, but he wants to just prove something. And Jan is, of course, one of the ones selected for this GT Academy. He goes to the race, wins, gets invited to go to the actual academy, and, he's facing against other people. You meet Amelia Hartford, which all you car nuts are all on her jock. I'll leave that for you guys. She's all right, But he goes to the academy. He's almost about to lose his spot because they're only going to take the top 5 drivers for the final race. And he notices that, like, when he was getting coaching, he did something and the car didn't react the right way. And David Harbour, the chief engineer, gets upset, but he has his other mechanic inspect and he's like, yo, this kid is right. And that's kind of where you make the connection that these two are like destined for each other, right? And so, again, I'm going to kind of wrap it up, but honestly, Jan gets, selected for the thing and he has to earn his license and he goes through these races and he's getting better, then he gets worse, and then he has to make this final race and he gets against the David Harbour's old team and the way they're driving, and there's this other team, and there's just that conflict of up and down for Jan until finally he earns his license. And then when they go to the next race, there's a big tragedy. So let me get into this. And this truly did actually happen. And there's a huge controversy for it because it was featured in the film where they're racing in the Nürburgring. And there was a point where his car, and dude, you can YouTube it. It's freaking crazy. His car, and then the wind, and something must have happened where his car literally lifted and flew right into some spectators, actually killing one of the spectators. And truthfully, I thought the movie did a good job being as delicate yet as accurate as possible with the actual events that happened, in order to create the drama for the movie of where Jan just doesn't want to do it. And David Harbour is reminded of his time in Le Mans for, inadvertently killing someone, and, tying all that movie and being able to become resilient. And I love how he says, you'll see it in the movie, he says a special line like, you need to finish your race, and he does it, and it brings back Jan into, himself again, and in order to achieve betterness. A lot of people were upset that they featured that in such an accurate and detailed portrait. And, again, no disrespect to that family or whoever, passed away from it. And I guess dramatizing it or adding some fictionalization to it may have shown some disrespect to that. But, I thought the movie was delicate enough to where it brought about attention to the dangers of racing. Nothing against the spectator. I think we all as spectators can only do so much to, protect ourselves when we're watching any of these races. We could go to Irwindale drag strip and see a car like blow up right off the line and the shrapnel just come flying at you. I mean, that's totally possible too. I totally get it. I thought that they maybe handled it decently well for what the movie was. And I'm sure that the director, the same guy who did District 9, if you remember that from 2009, that was really good, actually. I thought he did a really good job. So I don't see exactly where the controversy comes from, other than maybe that family doesn't want to relive that experience, which I totally get. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? You definitely let me know. But anyways, we go into the final scene where Jan is racing in the Le Mans and he's trying to become immortal. And again, you see where they get the old drivers from. You see where like he kind of loses his composure, but then he brings it on back. And there's some definitely interesting moments into it. And ultimately at the end, I won't spoil it all. You'll see what happens. And, it's ultimately a very feel-good movie for anyone, and I liken it somewhat to Karate Kid, original Karate Kid, because that's the one I grew up and loved with, and yeah, I don't. It's definitely not on that level with Mr. Miyagi and all that, but it's definitely an underdog. Learn your lesson, fight through the toughness, and grow to be the best guy you are. It's that kind of movie, but with a racing kind of a background and a love letter, if you will, to the video game Gran Turismo. And so ultimately, I don't know, if I was rating a movie, I guess I would give it I don't know, what do I grade my kids? I grade my kids on a 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? 4 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. I guess I'd give this movie like a low 3. It's definitely a solid movie. I think someone or anyone in the community, whether a race car or not, will find some enjoyment from it, whether it's the underdog story, whether it's the car racing. Dude, the sounds are amazing. Whoever was a sound engineer for that movie, wonderful job. Okay. The soundtrack was okay, but the recordings of all the race cars and the engines were phenomenal. And so, I think anyone can appreciate it. It's a movie you can take your parents to. It's a movie you can take your young children to. It's a movie you can take your girlfriend to, and they will find some enjoyment or entertainment within itself. I don't see anyone necessarily walking out. But you can kind of see the cheesiness of the film, of the movie. It's very cliche. It's very like you can figure out what's happening next kind of plot. Again, we're not talking about cerebral freaking Oppenheimer here and just really digging into the characters. No, it's very straightforward. And as a matter of fact, I mean, if you're a super hardcore racing nut, which I am not, for better or for worse, I wouldn't even know the first thing about like actual car racing and all the leagues and all that stuff. And then maybe that's my fault. Maybe I don't have a passion for racing just because, I don't know, I figured it's something that I can never myself seriously get into, but yeah, it's something where, like, if you know the history, you know what this driver was able to achieve, being that he just came from a Gran Turismo simulator, which this was actually legitimately true. It's impressive, and that's why I say it's a kind of a love letter to Gran Turismo. It's not as super video gamey and nerdy as some people think. There's some scenes here and there about it, but it's definitely making people aware that this specific video game and what the GT Academy was able to accomplish through Nissan and all the drivers that they did find that were actually really good drivers and actually did win stuff, is I think it's important and elucidating for the car community to appreciate and understand, and let alone anybody, Joe Schmo or my principal, like I was talking to her about it even. It was a very good movie. I really thoroughly enjoyed it for that aspect. And so you can't complain necessarily about what the entire message of the movie was about, what Gran Turismo was able to accomplish, and what Nissan and their GT Academy was able to prove to the racing community. You can make fun of all the plots, you can make fun of all the characters, all you want. I guess is true, but it's kind of difficult to make a biopic where you already know exactly what's going to happen, right? So give the directors, give the people producing it some slack on that. I think it was decently done, so no complaints here. Let me wrap it up with why this movie is important for our community. Again, oftentimes, I'll tell you my story growing up playing all these Gran Turismos, especially Gran Turismo 3, because I never had an original PlayStation. I had the PS2, though. And so my taste of Gran Turismo was there. And dude, it was just, that's where I spent all my time with my Mercedes CL63 and my Pagani Zonda, and my Honda Integra Type Rs. Like, I spent hours and hours playing that in, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. And that's where I kind of initially developed a huge passion for cars and just the way things sounded and how impressive and realistic this car was. And, most of the time you would think like a kid would enjoy like car games like Need for Speed or Ridge Racer. Dude, I loved Ridge Racer for sure. But no, like Gran Turismo was the one that stuck with me, and I've bought in every single one since. And now it's funny because the Logitech has all their steering wheels on sale. So I ended up buying just the basic one, the G29, because it's just cool. It's just, it gets you excited, and I want to, I'm not trying to be a yawn or anything. I'm too fat and for it, but like, you really gave you appreciation of what this video game was able to do, and how it does truly create car enthusiasts. So if we're talking about the car community, show them this game. Show them how impressive and realistic this game can be. Show them the attention to detail when it comes to the cars, to the sounds, the handling characteristics and dynamics, the tuning, the ability to just go in the game and wash your car and change your oil, which are things that we all suffer through. This game has grown up with me as much as Nickelodeon and, The Simpsons, right? And so I hope that people, especially in our community, can support this movie and find some enthusiasm to talk about it. At least just talk about it with your coworkers, with your friends about, hey, there's this really good movie I enjoyed. I'm a car guy, and I saw Gran Turismo, and it was really, really good. If you wanted to go check it out, hit me up and we'll go together. I think just bringing a public awareness, anything that brings a good awareness to the car community is worthwhile. And this movie definitely, I think, has the ability to do that. So go see it. Go check it out. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Did you see it? I know the official release is August 25th. Maybe you saw an early viewing of it. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Did you overly love it? Did you overly hate it? You let me know. So other than that, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you very much. Catch my YouTube channel. Check out the new stuff coming out. Hopefully this weekend. There's so many meets, but I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to the Escondido one. I want to see all my beautiful Hondas. I love them. Anyways, take care. Be positive. Go see the movie. I'm already burping. Have a good one. See ya.